The yod between Pluto and Neptune, that I call the master yod, is strategic for seeing how the patterns in our life flow and change over the years. This master yod can be viewed as a karmic timeline. DJT finds this 2023 point in his first house, just past Mars, triggering his temper. The 2023 point is in his natal midpoint, accentuating the natal yod. At the same time, Saturn in Aquarius Pisces now is in between. The yods are facing each other. Those born in the 40s are experiencing various kinds of ego-dampening scenarios. Depends on how they have lived their lives, how it treats them. Pluto is opposing itself, while Neptune is opposing itself as well. We can see how it is not just a normal transit. Those who are grifters and gaslighters and narcissists, Saturn is coming for them. DJT is the quintessential energy of the negative expression with Pluto on his ascendant. Pluto is the planet of narcissism and it's negative, paired with Leo. While Pluto and Neptune spent 18 years in Leo and Libra, respectively, pointing the yod to Pisces, in the subsequent years they were in 12-year increments. Pluto was in Leo in the 40s and 50s, with Neptune was in Libra. Pluto takes the energy of the sign and takes it to the 10th power, i.e., it exaggerates it. Scorpio energy makes it sensitive to it, and they find disrespect around at every corner. In this case, Leo is the ego, and yes, they do feel like they are elite and above others. I was born in 42. I look back and have to admit that as a child, I think I had a little princess complex and wondered why bad things happened to me. Even though Rudy Giuliani was born in 1944, you can see how the master yod has not moved very far from the position here than with Trump. 2 years later, 1944 is the year of the Chinese monkey. Now they can be lightweight monkeys scampering through the trees, but there are those who are gorillas and even King Kong, who want what they want and they will do what is necessary to accomplish it. They draw in those who are similarly minded in the Republican Party. Rudy's sun sign is paired with Uranus and Pallas. Now we think of that as hippie consciousness, but he seems to use it within conservatism to do what he wants within it. Rules and laws be damned. His mind is always plotting and devising new ways to work. Gemini is an intelligent sign, and with Uranus and Pallas within it, it is power for genius thinking and an inventor of some sorts. But then remember that Pallas can be height intelligence, yet can be autism or mental issues at the other end. And it seems with Rudy, he has changed through the years. He's not America's mayor anymore. I would assume he has a nervous constitution, hence the need for alcohol. The yod moved along until the 80s, where it met up with his sun and Uranus, and his world blossomed. But it was short-lived because by the early 80s it moved over Saturn. Now, as his fortunes have dwindled, Pluto is moving into Aquarius, opposite from where it started, while Neptune is going to be going into Aries, opposed to where it started. But now we have Saturn between them, around the yod point, and that's what it's all about, as laws cascade over him. Saturn likes rules and regulations and doesn't cotton to the fact that Rudy has been free and fast what he has been doing within the structure. While Trump has Neptune contacting the yod point now, it's gone past in Rudy's chart, and now we can see the gavel coming down on his life. Saturn doesn't like to have laws and rules broken. We will see how this fares when Saturn comes up to Trump's yod point. Roger Stone is a Virgo, but with Pluto so close to his sun sign, he does have power urges. But being a Virgo, he likes to be the puppeteer that manipulates the Leo. Technically, he isn't one of the 19, but he's lurking around all these shenanigans. The yod point conjunct Pluto was in 2019 when he got back into the spotlight. Now the yod is on his sun sign. That might ordinarily be a respite, but because Saturn is opposing, where it has been retrograding and going direct since April in 2023, it's making a rut in the road, and he isn't going to be able to crawl out of it until February 2024. Now, Miss Lindsey Graham, as he is known, was born in the year of the sheep. And as a sheep, he can be manipulated by someone who is a wolf in sheep's clothing. He is an unindicted co-conspirator with Neptune on the natal yod point, and the 2023 yod point just past Pluto. Both are on the fringes. But Saturn is about to bang the gavel, opposing Pluto. Neptune probably made the case against him less than clear-cut. His life picked up when the yod point moved into Gemini in the mid-90s, when it triggered one planet after another: Venus, the Sun, Uranus, and Mars in Cancer. In 1994, he ran for Congress, and he defeated a Democrat and became the first Republican since 1877 to take the seat. The yod point went over the Sun and Venus that gave him good karma, and then Uranus had an umbrella effect over it to do something different. When the point got to Jupiter, when the money eased up, after a sustained period of life's challenges, with Saturn being the triggering planet, maybe he couldn't trust that it would continue to flow. Now the point is over Pluto. If you are someone like Joe Biden and destined to be president, Pluto will give you power. If you have played fast and furious with life's foibles, it can bite you in the... When we get to Mark Meadows' chart, there is a major shift. Pluto has left Leo and is now into Virgo, while Neptune goes into Scorpio. The yod point enters Aries. Where Pluto inflated the Leo energy, now those born in from 1959 to the early 70s and Virgos are looking for the power. We will find that Virgos are getting out of their comfort zone and aspire for the limelight. Virgos look with a critical eye and find fault before finding anything remotely positive. They don't see the good around them first. They find what's wrong. While the power was in Leo, it gave them the adulation. It also brought haters. Now those striving for power in Virgo want perfection and don't like falling short. Pluto's demand for respect coupled finding disrespect when they aren't found perfect. If this chart is accurate, and I suspect it might not be, Mark was born in the year of the boar. They may be pessimistic, dour, and depressed. This chart combines Pluto with Mars, so it's pretty certain he has a temper, even though his Leo facade may seem to say otherwise. Neptune is going over his natal yod, like Trump, losing his power. Saturn as the arrow in the bow opposing Pluto, with Pluto itself creating a yod to itself. Saturn is the planet to watch here. It will be the gavel that demands rules and laws be obeyed. Saturn also conjuncts Chiron, the wound in his life. In his testimony in the Georgia trial, he testified that he didn't want to get yelled at by Trump. It's odd for a Leo to be in that subservient position to begin with, but like Stone, maybe he just wanted to be in the presence of power. With Pluto in Virgo, though, he didn't want to be found wanting. Employers are akin to dad energy, so we can speculate that being yelled at by Trump was akin to being dressed down by dad. I like this chart better because of three things. It's the year of the ox, Venus in Gemini, when he had a restaurant and parlayed that into a real estate company, and Jupiter as the triggering, slow-moving planet, as he said he was dirt poor as a kid. In 1987, when he was ostensibly 26, he started the restaurant in Northern Carolina and later sold it in and used the proceeds to start the real estate company in Florida. This while the point was between Venus and Mercury. Restaurants and real estate would be under Cancer. The slow-moving planet goes back to Jupiter with Saturn close by, which would coordinate with being dirt poor as a child. Being born in 1961, he would have been born in the Chinese ox, which accumulates wealth, works hard, and forges ahead. They can be frustrated with others, keeping it in and not expressing oneself. Another expression for not wanting to be yelled at. Now, Jeffery Clark was born in the Chinese year of the sheep, another one. And those born in the 60s had a long stretch where Saturn was the triggering planet, i.e. that the yod point did not go over another slow-moving planet for quite some time. Between the two of them, life was hard. With that behind him, he's used to dealing with those who judge him harshly. For Clark, it wasn't until the vicinity of 2000 that his fortunes changed with the entrance of Jupiter. he was so used to the cloud on his head raining down on him that he really couldn't fathom it changed. The natal yod point looks where it has been, and it doesn't matter how far from the last slow-moving planet is, the point moves continuously through the signs in order and at some point goes over another planet. He was so used to the cloud on his head raining down on him that he really couldn't fathom it changed. They say that he's not taking all this Trump indictment stuff kindly, probably feeling again he's wrongfully accused, not knowing energies have changed. And being an Aries, he's pushy to get it done.